Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Ajuna Sharawat, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that have proven successful for many. And this is what we trust these sessions are: a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Gaurav Sharma. With a total work experience of 25 years, out of which over 19 years as a global talent management leader, Gaurav has handled some of the most critical functions in the HR domain, including alignment of systems with business requirements, leading people management function, creating performance-oriented work culture, taking CSR initiatives, and many more. Welcome, Gaurav, to FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you so much, Ajna. It's definitely, I'm honored to be part of this interview. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me a chance to share about my experiences. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure entirely. Gaurav, could you please shed some light on the developments of your job roles?
Okay, so thank you for this question, Ajna. Please bear with because the answer would be a little longer because you're asking me to summarize 19 plus of years of experience in HR in one interview. But then I will try to be as brief as possible. Currently, I'm working as the Chief of Human Resources with BalanceHero India, which is an NBFC and a fintech organization, and it's a startup. Before this, I have been working with the diverse industries, including the automobile, consumer electronics, media industry, as well as the diversified conglomerate. So overall, if you see that I have developed these skills, so I hope what I found important is that HR, unless it is adding value to the business, it does not make sense. It is not true HR. What we care for the employees, but at the same time, unless we start taking a business through the employees, it is not going to make sense. My experience, and in fact, I have been very fortunate that I have been getting experiences with the great organizations. Like earlier, I was working with Hero Honda Motors Limited, which is now Hero MotoCorp, when there was a demerger going on. So I was part of the core team, which actually worked with the Boston Consulting Group and Harvard Business School professors in ensuring that what could be the possible future scenarios that could emerge for the Hero Honda. And accordingly, I shaped the HR strategies, HR policies and systems, and ensured that Hero Honda continues, or Hero MotoCorp continues to remain a success story in India. Having said that, and after that, it was Bosch, wherein the lot of mergers and acquisitions were going on, like Kalyani Brakes was acquired and it became Robert Bosch Chaser Systems. Similarly, Bosch and Rexroth Group was merging globally. So it was a unique experience of how people go through the various phases when any of the mergers and acquisition happens. Bottom line is that the communication is happening rightly with the people or not. So I think I have been fortunate enough to drive these people-related experiences in various companies that I have worked with. Ranbaxy, it was driving the bottom line. The major issue that the pharmaceutical industry faces is the attrition at the field level. And I was able to bring down that attrition level from the double digit to single digit. Obviously, it resulted in the top and bottom line improvement of the company. When the business starts saying that we really now see the value of that HR can bring to the business, that's a achievement that I think which every HR professional should strive for. I've also worked with companies like Gioni, which was into the consumer electronics, and in fact, driven the complete scaling of that entire organization was done by me. So from merely around 40 people, I drove that organization to around 450 on rolls and 21,000 off rolls employees. So it was a wonderful experience. And I, I think that HR has a lot of role to play when it starts understanding the business nuances. Without understanding the business nuances, HR will be only the file management department. So I hope I've been able to answer, and that's how I've been able to develop myself as a professional.
Wonderful. Gaurav, you transitioned from sales to human resources early on. What made you decide on such a move? And was it worth it all?
Ajana, this question comes many times to me during various professional discussions that happens, and I firmly believe that when I was at the ground level, I realized that the things which we decide in the boardroom ultimately does not reach the ground level. I'll just give you an example. I was working with a pharmaceutical company, a Fortune 100 pharmaceutical company. The message came to us. I think in the boardroom, whatever was decided, the message came to us: achieve this target, otherwise your job is at stake. This was not the vision of the company. And then when I went into the deeper details, I realized that actually why this 100 crore target is important for the company. The company wants to be in the top 10, and then why it wants to be in top 10? To get certain advantages. But I think that at the ground level, how it reached, it was definitely not what company wanted to communicate. So I think I realized that HR can play a very, very important role in at least top-down communication that happens. It communicates the essence, that why it is being decided at the board level, right? Ultimately, otherwise, the people who are not engaged or who do not own up that vision and mission, they will not be executing it with the full engagement or with full enthusiasm. Whatever policies we make, ultimately is the people who are executing at the ground. And if they are not completely buying in that, there would be problem. So what examples I shared with you is a perfect example of how not to share the messages across the organization at the ground level. So please, I think that's when I decided that I need to get into the employee related communication. And I think I was fortunate enough at that pharmaceutical company also, that I started getting myself involved in various induction programs. And then I realized that, okay, HR is the study which I can develop, because in Kanpur, a city like Kanpur, where I belong from, earlier there was only engineers and doctors who as a profession to choose from. But when I started getting into these things, when I started interacting with the other professions, I realized that, okay, I can get into the HR field. And I started actually contributing a lot more into the communication strategies of the company, and including the material that the company was making and sending to the field sales executives. So from there was no looking back. I pursued by management.
Sure enough. Gaurav, you have a flair for learning. You have continued your personal development along with educational development, educational growth. What is the inspiration for this?
Ajana, as a professional, we need to keep on reinventing ourselves. Like for every product, there is a product life cycle, right? And once you start seeing that the life cycle, the product is going through a down phase, that's the time that you need to reinvent yourself. And I can give you an example of a tablet called known as Disprin. Earlier, when it was known as only for headache, and then once the curve started going down, they started positioning itself also as a blood thinner, which prevents the heart attack, right? So it was reinventing, and then suddenly the Disprin sales started going up again. So I'm saying that until unless as a professional you keep on adding skills, which can be of any field, because which adds value to you as a professional and which adds value to the organization when you are sitting in the meeting. So I think that's why I've decided. And moreover, with the diverse industry background that I have, being from the science background but then I went on to do my management degree, and then from management degree I picked up HR and sales to HR, and then working with various business industries like media, consumer electronics, financial services, and automobile. I think I realized one thing: if any professional want to learn any new thing, it is a matter of the attitude and the inclination towards learning, and then they can pick up anything. I'm doing this ID course, Independence Director course, and ESG course, because I feel that if one has to remain relevant, he has to move with the time. And these once you start adding value, what's after HR? So why not many HR people become reaches to the board level is because they do not add skills required to be in the board level. I think that's why it's not flair for learning. It's a zeal to remain important or remain meaningful for the organizations that you work for.
Absolutely. Being relevant.
Yes.
Staying relevant. That's very important.
Yeah.
Changing times. But this requires a lot of time and a lot of focus. I'm sure you are very good in time management as well.
Ajana, whenever I discuss about this question, time management, time is limited for everyone. Time is 24 hours for everyone. It's more about self-management. When people say that I don't find time, I think it's actually they are not able to differentiate what is urgent and what is important. I think we get so much tied up with the urgent issue, we actually forget that what is important. I think if we do not attend to certain urgent issues immediately, or maybe if we attend it after 1 hour delay, the heavens will not fall. I think, but then what we should focus on is that what is important for the future, for the organization perspective and for the individual perspective also, and at least devote 1 hour or 2 hours daily for that important thing, which will shape up your future. So I think I have been that way self-disciplined in arranging time for myself, which will add value to my organization and to myself also.
Wow. Wow, really. What is important and what is urgent?
Yes.
Being clear on that.
Absolutely.
Will lead to your growth.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for this input as well. And continuing the discussion on learning, development of new skills, we would like to know, when did you develop interest in the field of ESG?
Okay, there are two aspects to it, Ajana, because when you go through the news, and generally news, because I am also from the news industry, generally only the gloomy news sells. But at the same time, you must realize that there are some stark realities which are staring at us, which is global warming. Right. There are also issues like there would be many countries or many lands submerged if we do not give attention. I was just referring to a report in which it was said that many companies are only doing the greenwashing. It's a synonym, I think, it's eye washing, that they are not doing anything, but then they claim to be ESG, more compliant towards ESG. I would not blame those companies. Actually, there are many people who are clueless what needs to be done in ESG, right? So I think this field is developing, and there is more and more seriousness towards it coming with the corporates as well as with the governments. I think many countries have signed the Paris Accord, in which the global emissions have to be cut down or curtailed. I think WTO is also in discussion on how to cut the or basically understanding about the global carbon emissions reduction. But at the same time, I think Government of India is also making the BRSR report mandatory from April 2023 for all the listed organizations. The ESG committee will also be made mandatory, though along with the other committees which are mandatory as per the Companies Act and as per the SEBI Act. But personally, I have a flair for the nature. I love going and enjoying the nature, because that's what the Mother Earth has given to us, right? But then, we have a far greater responsibility is what we are giving to the future generations. If we do not act now, then will our daughters or sons or the future generations can say that proudly that what our parents gave to us as a heritage is a spoiled earth? No, I don't think I want to be named. And moreover, there's another thing which actually drove me towards the ESG is corporate governance is one thing. Obviously, corporate governance is an integral part of the entire ESG umbrella. But at the same time, at the end of the day, when you finish your career, at the end of your career, whether you can proudly say that I have given back to the society from which I was earning. Right now, no. I think we are giving employment, but then individual level, whether you have contributed a lot, I think that drove me. So it's an intrinsic motivation that is driving me towards the ESG, corporate governance being a heart of it, but then it's overall about the environment and planet conservation. And I'm actually very, very inclined and personally motivated towards achieving this goal.
That's really very inspiring and so caring and thoughtful towards society and the place where we grow, live, prosper, our Mother Earth.
Absolutely.
And continuing on your favorite topic, learning, keeping yourself abreast. So Gaurav, what changes have you seen in your segment with technological advances? And what do you foresee with the advent of IoT, blockchain, AI, and ML technology?
Okay, so as people rightly say, change is the only constant, right? We have to keep on embracing changes because I think with the more technological advancement, whether it is the 3D printing, whether it is the blockchain or machine learning or AI with the chat GPT in focus, I think there will be requirement of the new skills every time, every hour that we are spending. I think there is a new skill set requirement developing somewhere in the world. I was referring or reading somewhere in the World Economic Forum report. I faintly remember the numbers. It said in the last 10 years, 39 lakh people lost jobs because of the technological advancement. But that's not the gloomy side. It also said, but then 72 lakh people got the new jobs because of the new skill requirement. So when people said, you remember when computer came in 90s, then everybody was saying that computers will take away our job. I think you are young enough, but then I remember during my times, people used to say that we will lose job because computers are coming. But I think it actually resulted in the employment boom after the computers came in. Definitely the requirement from typewriters shifted to the computer learning, and similarly, it will keep on happening. In my industry per se, I think because we are a fintech and a digital platform, in my industry per se, there's a requirement of data science, decision science, machine learning expert, artificial intelligence expert. Blockchain, we have yet not gone into that state, but I think there will be requirement of the blockchain experts also, because everybody is looking for encryption and security. I think in the banking sector, you will see a lot of blockchain technologies coming in. With the e-rupee getting launched, RBI is experimenting that. I think every company will need the blockchain experts. And these are the skill sets which are known to us. There would be further skill sets that would be coming. You never know that what could emerge in the next 5 years as a skill set requirement. So I think, yes, my industry has also seen change. And even every industry, even if I talk about the automobile, there's a 3D printing happening, 3D printing experts. 3D designing was happening, but then even right now the printing, earlier the printing, the designing of the model used to take a lot of time. Now with the 3D printer, you can conceptualize the design and see it actually in action with what the design will look like. So I think we are reducing the time gap with this technological advancement, but I think more and more new jobs will get created in the future also. Even if the chat GPT comes, I don't think it's going to take away the jobs. That's what people are fearing, but I don't think it will take away the jobs.
Wonderful and very encouraging and positive outlook towards all. Gaurav, now that you are a certified ESG certified independent director, what values do you offer to the corporate world?
As I was mentioning, we are on the cusp of the green revolution. People used to call industrial revolution, the computer revolution or farming revolution, but I think that this decade will belong to the conservation of our planet and the Mother Earth. Right? And I feel that for the HR people, is the natural transition into the ESG experts. Why I'm saying that, as a HR professionals, we take care of the future of the organization by ensuring that the people are rightly skilled, rightly equipped. Right? Here we are talking about preserving the entire future of our planet through the companies, through the corporate governance means. I think that it's a natural transition of who will take the responsibility. So I think it will be HR only who will be coming forward in conserving and taking the initiative towards the ESG. As an independent director, what I feel that, there are certain committees which are mandated as per law. One of them is nomination and remuneration committee. HR professionals play a very, very important role in terms of identifying the key talent, measuring the performance, driving the culture, and plus ensuring the parity in the compensation. I personally have devised or conceptualized many things like merit matrix. Merit matrix is a concept which I designed to ensure that there's a pay parity across the gender, across the organization for a given skill set and job band. Right, over a period of time, yes, obviously, when a person newly comes from the market, his compensation is driven at that time by the compensation that he was drawing earlier. But over a period of time within the organization, slowly and gradually, he should fall in line with the overall equity in the organization in terms of the pay or parity in the organization. I have actually conceptualized those and actually have successfully implemented those in my organization. Secondly, one is ESG. Second is as part of the, I think as a nomination and remuneration committee, I can add value there also. Thirdly, I feel that my diverse industry experience and the understanding of the business nuances of the various industries, I think I have a flair of understanding the strategic issues and what is required and what is missing. I definitely feel that I can add value to the boardroom if I get a chance there.
Absolutely. And now coming to the last question, which is a feedback question. As you're aware, Gaurav, we are building the FaceTime with Leaders community for cross-pollination of knowledge and a community of independent directors for having a better governance in the country, better corporate governance in the country. Right. What are your thoughts on these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan and Mr. Heval Mehta and the whole World Development Corporation team?
The very fact that I got very excited towards this course and towards this concept. In fact, I personally discussed with Heval about why should I pursue this course. At that time, I was unsure. And when he told me, you need to introspect that what after this. And secondly, he told me about the requirement and the skill set gap right now, which exists in the industry. I think they are doing a wonderful job in first creating awareness about this issue, that there is definitely a very, very glaring gap in what is required and what is currently there in the industry. Secondly, equipping the people with the required knowledge set. Right? It's very easy that you prepare for the mock test, but I think there is a systematic process in which the person has to go through 22 plus modules in the e-learning system for the independent directors, similar number of modules for the ESG. So I think they are doing a wonderful job in ensuring that this reaches to the masses. So there's more awareness about the corporate governance issues, the environmental issues, plus also the roles and responsibilities which our independent directors should perform while part of the board. I think they are doing a wonderful job. Hats off to them. Kudos to them.
That was an invigorating, informative, and a fantastic conversation with you, Gaurav. And I'm confident that your insights will inspire the future leaders. Thank you, Gaurav, for joining us today. Wish you the very best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.